Let's practice dividing fractions. We have a fraction divided by fraction. The first thing to remember is to convert the division sign to a multiplication sign. So when we have a fraction, we're going to change the divide sign to a times, and the rule is we flip the right side. The 1 over 2 becomes 2 over 1. Don't flip the left side, flip the right side. And now we're back to the regular question. Multiplying fractions is pretty easy. You simply multiply across. 2 times 2 is 4. And then we multiply across. 3 times 1 is 3. And that's our final answer. Let's try dividing fractions again. What's 3 divided by 4? What's 3 over 4 divided by 2 over 8? If you want to simplify 2 divided by 8 to become 1 over 4, you can do that right away, or you can do that later. Let's just do that later. Let's just use the basic rule. We're going to change divide to times, and we're going to flip the right side. So this becomes 8 over 2. And now we simply multiply across. 3 times 8 is 24. And 4 times 2 is 8. If you really wanted to, you could have said 8 divided by 2 is 4 over 1, or you could even say 4. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and then you could have multiplied that way as well. That probably would have been easier. So here, we simply divide top and bottom by some number. You can divide by 2, or you can even try dividing by 8. So when you divide top and bottom by 8, 8 times what is 24? 8 times 3 is 24. And when you divide 8 by 8, it becomes a 1. So 3 over 1 is the same thing as 3. So this is the final answer. Now let's skip over to question number 4 and focus on what to do. We know that we have 5/3 as the left number. And no, we're not going to flip the right. Why we're not going to flip it? Because it's already times. So please don't get confused between divide and times. So we simply multiply across. 5 times 2 is 10, and 3 times 3 is 9. And there's our answer. Let's do number 5 first. So what we have is we have a negative number divided by negative. 2 negatives right away becomes positive. So I'm not going to bother writing down the sign. So what we have is 2/3 multiplied by the flip. 1 over 5 becomes 5 over 1. So notice that I didn't even bother writing the negative signs, because 2 negatives multiplied or divided becomes a positive. So the answer is going to be positive. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 1 is 3. And there's our final answer. Let's finish off with this last one here. What's 1/2 divided by 3/5? It's the same thing as, don't be intimidated by all these layers. Just think of it like something divided by something. You could rewrite it as 1/2 divided by 3 over 5. When you're dividing by some big number, there's actually a hidden bracket here. So what's 1/2 divided by this entire number, 3/5? And just like before, we're simply going to write 1/2 multiplied by the flip, which is 5 over 3. You multiply across. 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 3 is 6. Great job. So remember how to multiply and divide fractions.